The night before his crucifixion, Jesus announced his intention to give his disciples a new commandment. He then declared that commandment concerned them loving one another. If you have read your Bible much, you may have noticed that Moses commanded God's people to love God with all their heart, soul, and might, as well as to love their neighbors as they love themselves. How is Jesus' commandment new if for 1,000 years God's people had the command to love one another? Have you ever wondered that? I did. My confusion runs deep, and I suspect I am not alone. Tim Keller identified well the source of my confusion when he said we are so instinctively and profoundly self-centered that we don't even think we are. A friend phrased Keller's meaning this way: we tend to be action-oriented rather than perspective-oriented. Mormons identify with both statements, as do I. Are they true for you too? Be honest, because honesty leads to curiosity and then to exploration. Self-centeredness and action orientation both contain a surprise that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Mormons express delight when I lead them to discover that surprise. After agreeing with Keller's words, Mormons tell me both that it is not good to be self-centered and that God did not create them to be that way. Well then, what other option is there? Mormons express surprise at being unable to think of one. Can you think of one? When I say God created them to be Christ-centered, they again express surprise, seeming to wonder why they did not think of that. Here is why. Action orientation and self-centeredness are both perspectives that blind you to the fact that they are perspectives. A perspective is a way of seeing life, which means a way of using some kind of wisdom. Christ-centeredness is both God's perspective and God's wisdom for life for us. Once you grasp that, you can leverage it to reduce your confusion. Now back to Jesus and love. Moses said to love others as you love yourself. Jesus said to love each other as he loved them. Action orientation blinds us to the difference. Can you see it? The first is human love and the second is divine love, which Jesus did the next day at the cross. You can try to do what Moses said, but can you try to do divine love at the cross? No way. Instead, you trust that sin-bearing love. Jesus' commandment is a new reality of divine love for us to trust, experience, and overflow with. Again, you cannot do divine love, but you can trust it. Since John says God is love, that means Jesus is divine love. You stumble and fumble when you try to do Jesus instead of trusting him. Action orientation curves Jesus' command inward and turns divine love into a checklist of good behavior for you to strive for. Do you think like a Mormon and turn Jesus' commandment into human love and expectations for human performance? I lead Mormons to taste Jesus' commandment as a new reality of divine love beyond their ability to even try to do. You should see their faces when I lead them to experience trusting his perfection and sin-bearing death. Welcome to my Conversations with Mormons.